Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. There's another hot one in the shop. I'll have to stop and wipe sweat from our eyes. But I was laying out preparing to do this odds and ends of the snap-on portion of our tool haul, right? Just get this stuff out of my floor into use type of a thing. And as I was gathering supplies for the video, I thought, you know what? We don't have a lot of real estate for the rest of the stuff. So my thoughts became, why don't we just go ahead and do a standalone for this item? And the reason being, out of all the organization stuff that I've seen, out of all the organization stuff I'm into, that I brought in, I have never, in all my day, seen a single video on this item. And I don't know if that's a combination of the people that get it just, you know, don't do YouTube, they don't make videos, don't do social media, even pictures, you know, when I have time to be on Instagram. Never seen it. Maybe it's a situation where it sucks and word got out years ago and I missed the memo. I really don't know. But it's an interesting item and it comes from Snap-on. It's made in America and it ties in with everything you see here. And you're thinking like, what do I see here? Matco, Stahlwille, extensions, Ratchet. What could possibly tie in with all this stuff from Snap-on? Well, it's made in America. It will set you back $25.25. And if you're thinking like, whoa, there's no way Snap-on's making something in America that's $25.25 that ties in with this stuff. Ratchet's extension, you can't get a socket for that. Well, I tell you what, let me give you the part number. It's KAEXT38OR. That OR most likely going to be the color code. This is available in multiple colors. And what it is it's this thing. Okay, and you're like, what are we looking at? There's proof it's really Snap-on. If this wasn't good enough for you, let me see if we can work our magic and slide that off. That's it. This is what was $25.25. Is it probably more than double the price, making them a pretty penny? I would venture to guess it is. If this was standalone somewhere or buying direct from a manufacturer, I think we could probably land this for $14.99, $19.99, somewhere in there, no issues. Maybe a little less than that, but let's take a look at it. As I mentioned, KAEXT38OR. So, something Snap-on, extension, 3/8 orange. Think of it that way, okay? And you kind of see it and you're like, why is there like a big thing here and little things? Well, what's going on? I don't understand. Well, this is a 3/8 ratchet and extension tray. And you're thinking like, oh, that's what all that stuff is. Yes, that's why all that stuff is here. We're going to try to fill this thing out, see how it works. What they advertise this as is it accommodates a wide variety of ratchets and extensions. Hopefully that glare isn't too crazy for you. Secure portable storage, meaning you could pick this up from your box, take it to a cart or a workbench or, you know, outside, whatever you're doing. Easy to access any tool, efficient drawer storage, and it's impact resistance, and that's really it. What I really wish is that there was like a populated picture for you, so you would kind of know like, oh, that gives me a great idea. That's what I'm going to attempt to do here. So right here, if you think I'm full of it, made in the USA. Now, just based on what we do on this channel, good Lord, it's hot in here. This kind of has a similar profile. I realize it's a little large. It's kind of hard to get side to side, but like, you know, just like the overall structure, rigidity, these little handles over here, this always struck me as something very similar to what we have from Ernst here with the Socket Boss, right? Ernst, of course, actually does make rails and trays for Snap-on. Essentially, somewhere up in here, you get like the Snap-on S. It's about all the, you know, nondescript branding they do for them. I don't think they're trying to hide it. So, I mean, if you had a rail from Snap-on and you needed like 3 more pegs for whatever you were doing and you have the space, you can 100% go buy an Ernst accessory pack, save a ton of money, and go to town that way. I don't know for sure that Ernst is the OEM behind this, but I would venture to guess they might be based on the similarities here. Now, the kicker, and what killed me, aside from never seeing anything on this deal, even in like all the toolbox tours on YouTube, I would venture to guess I've seen a good chunk of them, right? I have never seen a single person. You think of everybody, Toolbox Widget, Ernst, Mechanics Time Savers, made my own crud out of springs, drilled out a piece of wood, you know, Vim Magrail, Magnetic this, Harbor Freight that. You would think at some point you would have like seen some dude open a drawer, whether it's a service card or it's like Master Box or Master Box 2. You would have seen one of these. Somebody would have taken a flyer on this item. And I don't know if this is a deal. Maybe the trucks just don't push these or promote them very well. Is that a bee? Good Lord. Okay, I'm gonna hope that's a fly. That's like hovering around me. But I have never seen one, even just casually, like passed over, not like a standalone video, but just in the Toolbox tour sense, where guy opens a drawer and is like, ah, here's my ratchets, here's my extensions, kind of organized them, shuts the drawer. I've never seen it, ever. And like I said, it could be that it's just under the radar that much. It could be that nobody promotes it. Maybe the dealers, you know, there's not much meat on the bone here. You know, why would I come in and stock a ton of these if I make $3 off each one or something? I don't know. I really do not know. At this point in time, some of you are screaming like, well, I can't wait to see this. I've never seen it either. Maybe there's a handful of you that are like, what are you talking about? I've had that for years. Here's the deal, and this is why I'm inclined to believe that people just don't know about this, or it's terrible, or some combination thereof. You can only get it in 3/8. I've looked. I can't find this from any other manufacturer. You can't get it from Ernst direct. If they are the OEM, they may not be. But you can't like go in and data mine it, get the tool truck equivalent. You can't find, oh yeah, here it is in 16 different colors on Amazon. This little thing here is just unobtainable. Snap-on is the source for it. I think it's a great idea, personally. I will tell you, this is way bigger than I thought it would be. I was thinking it would have like a smaller, maybe like 16-inch footprint when I ordered the thing. It's pretty large, so that could be a deal breaker, could be a benefit for some of you. Obviously, the dimensions, just real quick, I'm going to go handle to handle as our first measurement. 19.5, very similar to what? To an Ernst Socket Boss, isn't it? So, inside dimensions, 18 3/4. I know you can't see that, just take my word for it. So it's a big one, you know, it's a decent size. Clearly you're not going to be able to fit your 24-inch locking extension. It's not going to happen, okay? But end to end there, you can fit pretty decent. You know, I think most people, even if they have a big extension in 3/8, you might be talking like 12 inches. Lots of 10s, 8s, 6s, 432 tinies, adapters, sorts of things like that. This is going to fit, I would say, like 90% of extensions, you know, and that 10% is probably held by a very, very small percentage of people who likely have very good reason for needing a 24 or larger extension, right? Maybe, you know, they couple them together, but then they fall apart, so they splurged on a long one. This is going to cover the bread and butter for the vast majority of people. I'm not sure how well ratchets, that's kind of what threw me off, like, that's why these are all here. I haven't tried anything in here. I want to know. I'm thinking if you do bare metal handles and probably designed for snap-on, maybe something else works. We'll try to get a feel for that. But they don't have it in quarter drive and they don't have it in half-inch drive. And it seems to me like if this was a good product, like the people that see it, that buy it, that organize with it, are going to say, dude, you know, get me another one. I want to put my impact extensions in it. Or, hey, do my locking impact extensions fit? And then when you've tricked out your 3/8 stuff, you're like, hey, I need that for my half-inch stuff. And they're going to tell you, well, sorry, dude, we don't have it in that. So maybe this can get going and take off, and demand will necessitate, like, hey, we need to make that in quarter and half, you know. Maybe it'll be a dud. It doesn't work well here for me. Maybe the OEM, Ernst, whoever it might be, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll see this and be like, you know what? We've had that on the market for a while. They haven't really pushed it well. We're going to go ahead and release quarter and half. I don't know the particulars. I don't know the OEM. I'm just speculating, you know, like, I'm just saying, you know, end to end there and similar construction. It seems like a quality piece. They obviously have a working relationship. Total speculation on that front. If you know, you know. Let me know. Let everyone know. But I think this is actually a pretty good idea. Now, If it works, which I don't know if it does, that's kind of gonna dictate it. I either have like an expensive orange paperweight, or I've got this, you know, really nice functional deal. Now, you could probably do some other things with it, you know? You could get creative, maybe Val, I don't know. Let's just can it and get to town. So I'm going to start with what I think is going to be disappointing, okay, which is anything with a comfort grip. Now, this is a Stahlwille 3/8 breaker bar. This comfort grip looks like it will fit there, and oh, it's just not quite laid out for it, if you can kind of see what I mean. So let me do this. We'll start with a 3/8. This is 2 Kokens cobbled together for my carrying pleasure. This is just a 3/8 drive extension, okay? Now, this is not ideal placement, I'm sure. And like right here, this really doesn't fit well. And this is not efficient, and that's not really holding things like you would want them to. I'm kind of afraid this might be like tailored specifically to the geometry of Snap-on, which, spoiler alert, I can't bail us out here. I do not own a Snap-on extension. I don't have a Williams equivalent extension. I don't have any of that stuff, so I can't like take this and be like, yep, you know, it doesn't really line up right with the length of this, but this is a sloppy fit. It's gonna keep it in place, and you could totally stick this guy here too, but that's not how that's probably designed and intended to be utilized, right? So sadly, Koken Wobble-Fix is out. Now, you saw that breaker bar. This is the biggest opening. There's one down here, but it's way smaller. So here I've got a long Stahlwille flex head. It's going to be the same thing, just the distance between here and here. We need like another 1/8 of an inch. And I think that sucker would tuck down. Now, here's the deal with these fixed positions. Brand X isn't wanting to cooperate with Snap-on's creation here, which can't really fault that. Now, the Matco, I think this handle is going to be too long, and it's way longer than the Stahlwille, as you can see there, so that's not going to happen. We're just running the gauntlet of failure here. Now, let's go ahead. This is a little Astro. It's actually a nice mechanism, I have to say. It's one of their nano ones, but let's take it. If we spin it this way, we kind of have our first success. Now, if you're thinking like, hey, idiot, why don't you do those that way? It ain't gonna happen. I mean, there's no way. So that's why. But yeah, we could spin that there. Now, the better thing, since this is a small head, might actually be stick it here. That works really well. Good news if you're heavily invested into the Astro stuff. Let's come in now. This is an SK with, I believe, a 10-inch extension. All right, we're gonna see if we can stack the SK in here. And the SK might be a little too meaty. She ain't gonna happen. That's a buzzkill. Let's try over here. Again, my apologies. This tray is so large. I just kind of have to make it happen for us. So I can't. The handle is too fat, even here in the mid tier. And so the SK LP90, she's out as well. Let's jump to this extension. All right, let's just come down here, and I think this one's going to be a win. So that's a great fit. That's a really good fit. If you've got old SK extensions, you might be able to utilize this guy. Now, picture, if we will, knowing that this is a 10, let's say that we had a 18, I think we could go end to end here, and then if we had a 12 and then a 10. But at that point, we now have 3 extensions taking up a lot of real estate. And yeah, that's 4.5 inches wide. Probably not the most efficient thing one could choose to do, but it is there. It is an option. Right here, this is a 10-inch as well, or 250. One of these is longer than the other. Maybe this is a 12. This is a Koken 250, which I can confirm by looking at it. So we're gonna tuck this sucker in now. Right here, you can see that's not going to happen. You know, we can't fit that there. I can put it here, and it's kind of like their Wobble-Fix. It fits, but it's not tight. If I come to this one, we've got a Stahlwille, which, guess what, has the same size handle on it every time. Which, yeah, it's not going to fit. You can see we're out of orbit there. But I've got a long locking extension here. Again, kind of the same setup, but This has more meat. The Koken is a very thin extension, Wobble-Fix, and this new locking one. This is really new. But this one right here, it's got material. We've got a ratchet and a socket back to back there, filling up the tray, looking good, functional. So right here, I'm gonna pop out this Koken because we've kind of filled it up. This is a Koken. This is a 3/8 flex head. You can see right there, we're probably gonna break that clip. Is the handle compact enough to nest there? You could probably do that. You're also probably going to rip that clip off prematurely. It's just the handles on the Koken will get it there. It's just the positioning of this clip is totally wrong for it, so I'm going to call that a fail. Our little KTC, relatively new guy. Yikes. You could go to town in that manner. It's not a great fit, but it is doable. Let's rip that out. Keep in mind you can do some other things kind of up here if we can get that in. It's just not designed for these brands of tools. Now right here I've got my Nepros. I always keep that spinner on this one. Let's pop it off. And it sort of fits. Alright, so you can kind of utilize this what it seems best suited for right now with what I have, which is not anything snap-on, ratchet extension. I got nothing for you. If you're heavily, I know a lot of you might not have the extensions, but you might have the snap-on ratchets. I don't know that their comfort grips will fit here. Their bare metal handles might. I didn't even grab the Craftsman's because their profile is so wrong for this. But anything cylindrical is going to be close. The SK fits beautifully. I'm going to give it the Best Fitment Award winning. The Stahlwille is right behind it. It's just like slightly, ever so slightly thinner than the SK. It fits beautifully. The Koken, you can nest it, but it's going to be sloppy. It's like if you pick this up and tilt it, it's jumping every time. Everything else stays put. That thing's rocking and rolling, right? So if we think about this, now I want you to, I don't want to trash this product because I want to like it. This is a 12, so it's a 12 and a 10 from SK and Stahlwille. You've seen it like this, okay? Let's say that we have our, let's just go ahead and we'll pretend this bottoms out down here, runs up to here. We could fit an 18 in there, I feel, pretty comfortably, all right? So we've got our 18 that goes end to end. Then we come in and we've got our 12-inch, and it's gonna go basically where this is. Right up here, okay? If I rip this Koken out, that doesn't really fit well anyway. If you've got a shorter extension, like keep in mind we're gonna run our 12, we could theoretically fit like a 4 or a 6-inch in this next cavity, right? And then over here, maybe you run like an 8 or a 6 and then a 4 or 3 type of a thing. It's got potential. You need something that fits it well, like the SK or the Stahlwille, to really capitalize on it. Interestingly enough, that Astro fits really well in there. So I would love to come in and like fully populate. Now keep in mind, you can do weird things like this. Just set the Koken in. You know, if you had a whole bunch of like 2, 3, 4s, you know, fixed locking wobble, I mean, you could kind of like cavity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 9 cavities plus 2 in trays. There's a lot of options here. It's just the best things are really the big extensions. And at that point in time, do I like this better than just having them in like a 3-compartment tray from Ernst? I don't know. Now, that said, the 3-compartment tray, we're not fitting this guy, you know, inside it, maybe tilted up, but it's kind of a catch-22. This is one time in my life I really wish that I had snap-on, 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 and we could just come in and go to town here mapping this thing out for you. What I want to do now is pop out the few things that actually kind of fit there. The Astro is so thin on the handle, it's almost like the same diameter of these extensions that fit good. But what I'm going to do, you're probably thinking like, hey, you know, what would you do here to make this potentially better? if I can keep this from falling, I'm gonna come in here and grab these Capris, okay? So I'm gonna get this Koken out, and the Capri is pretty fat, and luckily for us it has a name on it. Yeah, that was painful. I think we're gonna break it, sadly, if we force this. This is a little too fat, sadly. So we've seen too thin with the Koken. What I was hoping to do, this was a nice like 12, 6, and 3 type of a thing. Stahlwille is a win in there, I will tell you that. But let's see if we can nest just one. That's all I want there. So I'm just gonna slide that up. Jeez, that is crazy fitting. Yeah, we broke it. Already broke her. If you can see the stress fracture here, or that's the lighter color orange, yeah, you know what that means. So we've seen this fail instantly. Not instantly, I should say, but very soon thereafter. You get what I'm trying to do here. This is what I described to you. So in theory, the best thing would be if this was an 8 and actually nested there, and then this was a 6, and maybe we had our 12, and then our 3 was over here, right? I can see the vision, I can see the potential. I hope you can too. I just cannot execute the vision here with what I own. It's either too fat or too thin, or we don't have enough of what fits well. We do have a lot of things that don't fit at all, for whatever that may be worth, which isn't much. But yeah, what I want to know from you, what do you think of this? Are you intrigued by it? Now, maybe not exactly this item, which I assume, again, if Snap-on has a deal where they're 3/8 extensions every single size, whether it's, you know, a little 1-inch jumper or it's 24 inches, they probably have the exact same OD. And I can only assume that this was designed and engineered to specifically fit the OD of their 3/8 extensions. Now, Snap-on does something weird where their 3/8 extensions are like, I don't know, let's say that these are, we'll go 0.350, okay, and then they come in and their impact stuff is 0.500 on the 3/8. Did they factor that in? I don't know. There's a good bit of adjustment on this thing, you know, with that plastic tab, but I mean, this isn't that much fatter than this Koken, and the Koken's too thin and this is too fat. So what I'm getting at here is, if this was designed to fit your extensions, let's say that Koken, somebody there, you know, social media person is online and they see this Snap-on tray and it's got Koken extensions in it that don't really fit good, and they say, hey, that's really cool, you know, which I don't know why they would. I brought this whole thing over here not to compare and contrast the two, but because if these did fit, I was gonna like bing 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 plug it in, make it look really cool. They don't, so we can't. But maybe Stahlwille sees it, you know, and they're like, hey, you know, that would be a great way, which again, they're foam people for aviation, so they probably wouldn't, but let's just assume one of those two companies, they would size this for their extensions, right? Koken would say, hey, our 3/8 are all this diameter, this needs to have a range of blank to blank, and then they say, hey, our impact extensions are, you know, 0.x bigger, let's have the range go from this to that. Versatility, or maybe they want 2 standalone part numbers, 1 impact, 1 chrome, so you have to buy 2. If this tray was available to fit your brand of extensions, would you be a player on it? Let's just keep the price $19.99. We'll take away the Snap-on tax and just make it $19.99. Would this be something that interests you from a tool organization standpoint? Again, keep in mind, like if we 18, 12, 10, 6, and then maybe your little guys go in over here and the tray is loosely, right? Looks like 3 is about all that would fit there, unless you have like a weird 3.5 or something. I want to know, like, would this be something that you would buy to organize your extensions? I think it looks really good. If we had the Snap-on appropriate extensions to fully populate this, I think it would look really good, and it would be a bit more efficient. As is, I don't think I can justify this much space, like, what was it, 18 3/4? We'll really go handle to handle here. 19.5, we'll just call that, by what, 4.5, was it not? Yeah, 19.5 by 4.5, that's a lot of real estate for 3 to 6 extensions, you know. Even if this was like 4 extensions and a ratchet, that's a lot of real estate. You don't have any sockets with you. So I can see the vision. I appreciate the vision. I think it would be executed much better if I had their extensions right. It's a shame this is not universal, meaning I've got a locking Koken, I've got an ancient proto, I've got this Bonnie from my grandpa, I've got this Stahlwille, here's a Hazette, here's, you know, a Pittsburgh, here's an Icon set. If you had some way of just making this a little bit better, you know, like expansive on the size range where it would still clamp down, whether you go magnetic, whether you know, get like a different plastic, maybe a clip on both sides instead of something fixed. Is this something that you would be interested in? As of me right now, I really do see what this could be. And again, what I'm thinking, if this would have worked, which I don't think it does, and I'm not going to go buy snap-on extensions to make it work, stacking it. Okay, I would have had obviously impact separated from chrome. If you have enough of them, you could even separate your wobbles from your fixed and your impact. But picture these like stacked. So you're wasting a lot of space here, but then if you take this tray with 6 extensions in it and you put another tray with 6 and another tray with 6, and that fits in your, you know, drawer, that's a win. Even in like a shallow drawer, you could probably fit 2 of these stacked. It has a lot of potential, I think. For me, and especially given that we've already broken that, like, which I mean is still going to be functional for a little while, but we will over time, that's just going to come off and it'll be a long cavity. I can't justify it for the price, but if you have snap-on extensions, I think this could be something worth looking into. For me personally, I don't even know if I'll be able to use it for anything. As much as I hate just having extensions thrown into a divider, I think that's a more efficient use of space than this. So this might be a deal if you've got multiple boxes and you're trying to make one like super efficient and organized and you got the retail space for it. Maybe this is a viable option with the snap-on extensions. Again, SK Stahlwille, those work great. I think I've tried pretty much everything outside of really old stuff, which a bunch of my old stuff is 1/2-inch drive anyway, but you kind of get a feel for it. It's $25. It is available in several colors. I mean, green, you know, you name it, you can kind of go to town that way. Maybe some of you, like I said, it's like, oh wow, you know, I've got a little cartridge of, I don't know, cut-off discs that you have to use in something, and if you could have them in a tray, it would be great, and you don't even care if they, you know, flop around because it's just going to be in a drawer. There's other things you could do with this. It's just, for what I was hoping to do, I don't think it can be done practically. If this is from Ernst and they could create something that covered a wider array of sizes, just generic, maybe there's 1 or 2 that don't fit well, I think this might be something that sells. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. Again, the Astro Ratchet, thumbs up. Stahlwille SK extensions, also thumbs up. Everything else, no. Not happening. The Capri is a little too fat. I mean, like, that's going to break those clips if we did that with any regularity. But with that said, let me know your thoughts on this thing. And be honest, had you ever seen this prior to this video? Because, like I said, this might be why I hadn't seen it. Maybe people get it, try it, and it's like word got out, ooh, it doesn't really work well. So, which again, it would work well with snap-on extensions. It would, if I had all litany of SK or Stahlwille, it would work well. It's just for what I've got, it's not going to pan out that great, but I do think it has potential with some slight revisions. I'll leave it at that. So it looks cool too. Is a lot of space, but hey, it's a catch-22. Let me know your thoughts on it. If you like the video, I encourage you to leave a like. If you like several things I do, I encourage you to subscribe. If you jumped your Charger across the creek, ring the bell, populate this with hodgepodge extensions that actually fit well. YouTube just might notify you that we got new videos out every Wednesday and Saturday morning. With that said, you can find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have yourself a great weekend. And most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop.